Yesterday, a child came out to wonder.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Meghan Victoria. My name is Meghan. I am a pro hair makeup artist, and I am also the savior of square faces. A lot of you guys have called me that, and I freaking love it. Okay, but we are here for another square face video. So if you are new, I do this series on my channel where I give tips and tricks as being a professional makeup artist and, you know, someone having a square face, on how to embrace your square face. I have a very square face. It has been a long journey to accept it, to appreciate it, to respect it. And I love sharing that journey with you. I love you guys sharing where you're on your square face journey. And more importantly, I love giving you tips and tricks to really rock that square face, have that confidence, lift those cheekbones, snatch that jawline, and just, you know, get the most out of your square face. I've said this in my other video, but when I think of a square face, I think of like a blank sheet of paper, and we need to add those like curves, we need to add those highlights, those contours, and just kind of like give the face some life. So this is the look we're going to be doing today. As you can see, we've got highlights, we've got shadows, we got blush, we got a gorgeous eyeshadow look. We're also going to be using the NARS Orgasm X collection, so that's really fun. Of course, anyone can watch this video because, hello, it's like a cute makeup look, but I definitely love gearing these videos towards you guys on your square face journey. It's really incredible reading all your comments. Some of them make me really sad, some of them make me really happy, but I totally understand when you have an insecurity, and I just hope that these videos give you some inspiration, help you embrace your beautiful square face. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to get this video started with you, so without further ado, let us get started. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do is get a little glow to the face. This is nothing to being a square face, just like, you know, why not have a little glow? So I have been loving mixing the Nano Bronze bronzing drops from Indeed Labs and my Flawless filter. So the Nano Bronze is actually the Nano Blur from Indeed Labs, which is like such an amazing like smoothing agent. It makes your skin look lovely. So I'm just gonna mix a little bit on the back of my hand, and then it obviously gives you some bronziness, but I'm also gonna mix a little Flawless filter because we love a good glow. So I'm gonna grab that guy, mix between my hands, and apply this to the face. I can't believe that they put Glow, Bronze, and Nano Blur all together. Like, that is like the best combo. Definitely take it down your neck, because let's be real, we know the sun never hits the neck and then our face ends up looking like a bobblehead. So we want to, you know, conjoin everything, make it all matchy-matchy. See, I could go like this because, number one, honestly, okay, Flawless filter on its own, fabulous. It also blurs the skin and makes it look really good. And then the Nano Bronze blurs the skin and makes it look really good. So all together, you just have this like smooth skin with like such a good bronzy glow. I'm in love, amazing. Okay, so for foundation, we're gonna take the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I just love this as a summer foundation. It works so well. If you do have like drier skin, that's why, like in the summer, because I have probably normal to dry skin, but in the summer, it's perfect because with a little bit of like the extra sweat and glow we got going on, it stays put. So I just mixed the Estee Lauder Double Wear because it's a more matte foundation with the Luminous Silk from Giorgio Armani. These two together, chef's kiss. So I'll just grab a little bit on the back of my hand and we'll work this all over the face with my sponge. I love adding a little bit of the Giorgio Armani because it just keeps the glow in, because the Estee Lauder is definitely more of a matte formula. Together, they just give you the most like glowy, kind of satin smooth skin, and I just love it. All right, that is the skin. I think it looks lovely. We're gonna move on to some color corrector. So again, this isn't like square face specific, but we're gonna grab a little bit of color corrector. I'm gonna grab my little Eve Pearl Salmon concealer, and we're going to pop that underneath the eyes, in the inner corner, in the outer corner, anywhere where you just have a little bit of discoloration. All this is gonna do is you get kind of blue tones underneath the eyes. This orange shade is just going to neutralize everything so that when you put your concealer on, you're gonna get the most of your concealer. It's not gonna kind of look gray. It's not gonna look like washed out. It's gonna look nice and light and bright, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of that and just blend it out with my sponge. Something else I like to do is, if you're like me, I get a little bit of like excess melanin production right above the upper lip from the sun. So I kind of just like to color correct it, kind of like, you know, drag queens color correct their beard. I'm just gonna do that. So as you can see, the face looks really neutralized. You're not seeing orange under the eyes because we've just neutralized everything. So now we can go into concealer. So for concealer, I'm gonna start off with a coverage concealer. So this concealer is my skin tone. Maybe it's like a shade lighter or warmer or whatever, but it's pretty much my skin tone. So I just want a little bit of like coverage with this guy. So I'm gonna just hit the inner corner and the outer corner, like really simply like that. I don't like to do the whole triangle because when you blend, these two will meet. So you're gonna use less product by just kind of letting them meet. And that's a good little tip for that. I do a little around the nose because my nose can get red, and right here, and then the sides of my nose or mouth get a little dark, and then my little, you know, little melanin stash. She's cute, but you know, I don't want her. So I'm gonna grab my sponge and start blending this out. I like to blend my like chin and like my lip out first because I don't need as much coverage. I do let my under eyes just sit for like just a second. So by the time I finish all of this and I get to the under eyes, they've kind of oxidized just a little bit, like it's just dried down a tiny bit, so that I can blend it out nice and flawlessly. So I'm gonna grab that, but as you can see, as I literally grab the concealer, it pushes it to the outside and blends everything together. Okay, so we are neutralized, right? Our skin just looks flawless, but it's all one tone. Now is where the fun part comes in. So, square faces, let's chat. We have gorgeous cheekbones. It's part of our facial structure. So we want to emphasize those, and we also want to just like make them, you know, really prominent. By doing that, we're adding kind of volume to the sides, which is then going to make like our jaw a little bit more snatched, and it's not going to like add so much like a squareness, like we're kind of breaking up the shape and giving some curves. We're basically adding curves to the face. How cute. So I'm gonna grab my concealer. It's a few shades lighter. It's definitely lighter than my coverage concealer. So we've done our coverage, now we're gonna brighten. So highlighting, as we've talked about, is when things go towards the light, they stand out. So we're adding volume to the sides of the face. So I want to add volume to the cheekbone, so I like to kind of just pop a little concealer there. I definitely want to brighten the under eyes, so I'm going to pop a little concealer there. We're bringing everything forward. I definitely like to bring kind of the triangle, like the center part of the face forward, so I definitely hit it right here. Personally, for me, I don't want my forehead to have any more like highlighting because it's, you know, it's not giant, but like it's like a little bit larger. So I don't really need to highlight there, but I definitely will get the cheekbones and all of this good stuff. So I'm just gonna use whatever's left over on the wand just to kind of more emphasize my point. So here we are, we're lifting the cheekbones, we are lifting the side of the face towards the camera. So this is coming forward, which is gonna make this more prominent. It's gonna kind of like round out the edges and just kind of like shrink the face a little bit. It's just gonna give us a bit more sculpt. So let's grab our little sponge and we can just start blending this out. I like to kind of blend underneath the eyes and then kind of like pull it out so it's holding like space for the entire cheekbone. I'll just take kind of the remainder and I'll just kind of go around like the little chin area and just a little bit in the forehead. So I'm basically, again, just trying to highlight the center of the face and just kind of make sure that even light is like evenly distributed. Okay, so you can see we are nice and light and bright. One little trick I do also love to do is called reverse contouring. Definitely talked about this in a few videos, but now you can see that we are lifted on the side of this cheekbone right here. I'm just gonna blend that little guy out. So what I like to do is we look at where our contour is. So you can see where my cheekbone is. What I like to do is put a little line, like literally just whatever kind of concealer you have left over on the wand at the end is perfect. And I'm just going to blend this out underneath the cheekbone. By highlighting right beside a shadow, you're really going to emphasize the highlight and you're also going to emphasize the shadow. So by doing that little trick, I've already made my cheekbones look more sunken in, and I haven't even applied contour. So if you're like wanting like a super, you know, natural look or an everyday look, you can easily do this. Like look at that. You're already snatched much more than we were at the beginning. So just blend that out like so, and we are good to go. Okay, so for contour, I'm gonna grab my little pure Cameo contour stick, and I'm just gonna draw my little line. I don't usually use this as I feel it's a little bit warm. However, now that I'm a little bit more tan and bronze, this color actually works really well. So I like to just take a little bit across the forehead because I definitely like to shrink my forehead. You want to think about when you contour exactly what works for the proportions of your face. So look at it almost like in 3 sections. So this is like our middle section. Usually I like this to be the largest, right? Like it's where our eyes are, our lips, like our features. We want everything to stand out. And then your forehead, I like a little bit smaller. So I'm going to definitely just round out the forehead like so. Personally, I would more like to shrink the forehead this way rather than this way. So I kind of go a little bit more heavier on the sides and then just a little bit on the top. Also, this is just kind of something I keep in mind, but it could be something that works for you. My forehead is very flat, so when you're looking at it, you will very much see if it looks muddy. So my contouring cannot be too strong on my forehead. If it was more rounded, I could definitely get away with more, but I definitely can't. So then we do our little cheekbone contour action like that. We just like, you know, you can suck in your cheekbones. I always say feel your cheekbones. If you feel your face, you will get the most natural look for your specific face. So we did a whole video on it where I literally brought a black sheet of paper and was like, look, this is where the shadow is, go place it. I'll put all these videos down below, by the way, if you haven't seen them. But it's very important because you need to tap your face and actually find out where your bone structure is, because that's what you're doing when you're contouring. You're not just like drawing on wherever, right? You're trying to mimic the shadows of your bone structure if it was just a little bit more prominent. So that is the goal there. If you want to contour your jaw, you can go ahead. I hate it. So if anything, I'll contour like underneath because that'll make my jaw just a little bit stronger. Also, actually, you do right here. I actually really liked this. I thought this was like not doing anything, but it actually casts a little shadow and it's kind of cute and it works really well, so I like it. Okay, so you can see the places we like to contour. If you want to contour your nose, go right ahead. I'm just going to start with my little blendy brush and just start working this and buffing this into the skin. I personally kind of like to pat to like melt and warm the product, and then I like to push it up so it's like holding the cheekbone. I don't want to bring anything down because then I'm like kind of ruining the whole purpose of like lifting the face and sculpting the cheekbones, right? And for a square space, oh my god, I cannot talk today. A square face in particular, it's all about lifting everything we want up, because what happens is with a square face, you get a lot of volume and proportion down here and everything kind of like drags down. So you want everything up and kind of changing the direction. So this blends out lovely. We'll just get that guy down there underneath the jaw. I actually really like doing this. I always forget to do it, but I have to say it makes a difference. Like, look at that. Like, it just adds this like shadow onto your neck and it makes your jawline look so much more snatched. This is the thing with a square face, is like, I'm not gonna tell you to like change your face shape and be like, oh, I can give you an oval face. Like, I can give you techniques to, you know, help you a little bit, but I'd almost rather, like, if I'm gonna have a square face, then like, let's make sure it's, you know, like a chiseled, snatched square face. So I would rather kind of strengthen the things I already have going for me and then, you know, kind of make the most of it. That's what I like to say. And then as always, I always go over everything with my sponge. It just pushes everything into one seamless layer instead of like multiple layers of makeup sitting on your face. So I just love doing this trick. Look at us, we are so snatched. Ooh. All right, so at this point, we need just a light layer of powder. As you can probably tell by my sweating, it is very hot, it is summer, so we're gonna do that. So I'm going to grab a few powders. I know I'm annoying, I apologize. First, for the under eyes, I wanna keep everything really light and bright, so I'm grabbing my Charlotte Tilbury magic powder. I'm gonna load up my little brush. I'm gonna press, make sure my concealer is nice and tapped out, and then I will just do a light press and sweep of this powder underneath the eyes. It's just gonna let the light within kind of stay, and it's not gonna like mattify and make the eyes like, you know, dry and crepey, because like obviously that's not the vibe. So I just like to really, you know, press this on. This is brush 220 Radiance. All brushes will be listed down below as per your request. And to buff earlier, we used the BMX 180, which I love this brush. For the remainder of the face, I'm gonna grab my Charlotte Tilbury magic powder, and I just like to take this and just kind of stamp it everywhere. This will give you the most flawless skin of your life. It is so smooth and lovely, and I just like kind of pressing this on. What this is going to do, since we put cream products, is it's going to set everything, of course, but when we put our powders on, it's just going to have this like really silky canvas to blend right on top. So I love doing this step. Okay, so when it comes to the bronzing portion of like a square face, I like to definitely make sure the cheekbones are snatched. We have been through this. But I also kind of like to take away a little bit of the volume on the sides of the face and just all around kind of make the face a little bit smaller. And so by doing that, we need shadows. Now, we cannot like, you know, put a shadow around the entire perimeter, but what you can do is bronze the entire perimeter. So I like to take a nice big fluffy brush, super like, you know, fluffy and giant, and then just lightly go in that 3 motions. So we're not trying to chisel. I'm just adding a little bit of like warmth and shadow to the side. So you can see it already as we add it to the one side, how it just kind of like, it just kind of does this. Just like makes it a little bit smaller and a little less prominent as like, you know, just like a face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Definitely take it down the sides of the neck. And at this point, if you want to add it kind of to the jawline, you totally can. It's not going to give you like a beard look like our contouring might, but like our just light bronzing just looks really pretty and natural. All right, so let's take it to the other side. And for this, you definitely don't want anything too dark, because as soon as it's too dark, it can just look like hella muddy. So you can see this is a really light bronzer. It's actually kind of peachy, but it kind of works because I do have a peachier undertone to my skin. So I kind of just like to apply this all over the perimeter. So just really take it around town. Such a beautiful product. And now we're nice and bronzed up, and that brush I've been using for all this stuff has been the BMX 100 powder brush. So now we're going to switch over to a little bit of a deeper bronzer. So now we have this overall warmth. It's really, really beautiful, but I definitely need that like snatched cheekbone look. So I go into a deeper bronzer. I'm going to take it on this BMX 120 angle brush. I grab a little bit of this, and I'm going to focus on the back portion of my cheekbone. And when I have less product on my brush, I can swing it into the center. So we're deepening the cheekbone, but we don't want to go like this because you're going to get a harsh line around the face. We want everything really soft. So just from the back end and then bring into the center. Nice and soft little circles, and you can see how that snatches the cheekbone. This one's obviously a little like, you know, she's brown, she's glowy. There's a little bit of snatch, but this one is like... And we always need a good tongue pop, so let's just grab that over here. So I love to utilize two shades of things, like a lighter shade, just do an all over kind of shading, and then like really go in and chisel, because you have to think like how a painter paints a canvas, right? They use tons of products, they use tons of steps, they use tons of different shades to really create the depth and dimension they want, and it's the exact same thing with your face. So to really create what I need and want, I have to use multiples of things. So I know it seems excessive, but the result is worth it. Okay, now is the fun part. We get to go into the NARS Orgasm X collection. Oh my God, this thing is so beautiful. I'm so excited to get this in PR. My goodness. So we are gonna grab the Orgasm X blush palette. You guys know I've been using the Orgasm X blush forever and I'm obsessed with it. So now they have like a little palette that like all three come in. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Orgasm X blush. Okay, so in the summertime, if you've been watching my videos, you've been seeing how I've been applying my blush like this. Yes, it's beautiful. I love it. I love it a lot. But if we're doing a square face video, then that's not the most flattering position for your blush. Like, it obviously, like, I do it, you can totally do it. But if you're really trying to snatch the face, I actually like to apply my blush almost like on the outside of my eye. So again, we're bringing everything up and out, and we're like snatching and, you know, doing that whole thing. So I take my blush and, oh, I always forget how freaking pigmented this is. And I actually join it into the bronzer, and you can see how this again sculpts the face. I definitely added too much, so we'll blend, but I keep forgetting how bloody pigmented this shit is. Again, working on the outer portion of the cheekbone and then slowly bringing it in, but you definitely don't want it like right on the apple, because that's just not, it's gonna like ruin all the like highlighting and lifting we did. So right on the outer portion, and then I blend it into my temple, which is just going to really sculpt the cheekbone. Because you have to remember your cheekbones are like, you know, they're rounded. It's a bone, right? So we're not trying to like snatch it right back, because that doesn't actually make sense with our like bone structure. So we just want to really work it up into the temple. So I want to call in my sponge to help me blend, because I definitely went a little too heavy-handed. What else is new? And then of course, let's grab a little bit of our highlighty shade that's right here. Looks so like golden and beautiful. And again, I like to apply it in like a C shape so that it lifts everything and rounds everything out. So I just apply to the top of the cheekbone and rounding it into the brow bone. You're also kind of adding light patterns to the face, which is almost tricking the eye. So instead of seeing this like harsh, you know, angles, you're starting to add this like roundness, which then kind of just makes the eye a little bit happier to see like something different. Look at this cheekbone snatch. Like, how stunning is that? Oh my goodness. If the highlighter is a little too much for you, if you just press it in, you can definitely kind of, I don't want to say dull it down, but you can make it a little bit more subtle and really push into the skin so it really like moves with the face. And now you can see how much light pattern we've created and like how gorgeous this like sculpted cheekbone is. All right, so if you're feeling like you got a lot of bronzer or you have a lot going on, you just want a little bit more snatch, all I'm gonna do is take whatever loose powder I've left over on this brush, and I'm just gonna kind of use it as like a light eraser. I like to use a loose powder just because it's a little bit lighter rather than like a translucent or not like a pressed powder where like it really delivers coverage. I just want really light, but you can just kind of erase any of the bronzer that got a little low, and now you're gonna definitely have a nice snatch but natural cheekbone. And then because it's hot as hell, you can use that leftover powder to help, you know, dim the shine. All right, so here's what the face is looking like. I am going to toss on my brows and then we can move on to the eyes. All right, so let's get started on the eyes. I'm gonna just first kind of smooth out the concealer slash foundation. And then we're gonna go into a bronzer shade. I love to start with the bronzer shade on my eyelids. I just think it kind of ties in the shadows that I'm using in the face and just kind of gives it a really cohesive look. So I'm gonna grab here, I'm just gonna grab this like lighter little guy, and I'm just going to use this as a transition shade. So with square eyes and eyeshadow, it's definitely more about your eye shape, but in general, when we're doing the square face and we're trying to snatch it, we're basically trying to make all our features a lot more prominent, so there's less like flat surface area and there's more things going on. So that kind of means making our eyes look bigger. So I like to take my transition shade a little bit higher into the crease. As you can see, it almost like touches the brow bone, and that's just going to kind of make the area of the eye like kind of expand, whereas this one is literally like it's just the eye, like it's just the eye kind of hanging out and chilling. All right, I'm keeping it super light because I do want kind of a lighter and brighter look today, just because. So I'm going to use these two Orgasm X collection eyeshadow palettes. This one's Orgasm, this one's Orgasm X. I'm going to first start with the Orgasm one. It looks beautiful. We're going to grab this little matte shade right here, tap that off. I'm gonna work this into the crease just a little bit lower than the transition bronzer shade I applied. And again, all I'm trying to do is sculpt out the crease, but again, expand the eye. So just work like that in little small windshield wiper motions and little circles. I also do like to kind of extend it a little bit. So I just, you know, make sure I'm not like harshly ending my eyeshadow. I do want to kind of pull it out, give it more of that like cat eye feel, because again, as we extend everything up and out, then we snatch the cheekbone, and then again we leave more of this like blank area in the center of the face to really kind of come forward. So just kind of extend it up and out and kind of almost like into the blush. Ooh, what a pretty like peachy shade. That's really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna jump on over to the Orgasm X palette. I'm just using like a bunch of palettes because, you know, we're trying them out. That's really the only reason. You could obviously keep this a lot more simple. I'm gonna grab this little red shade. I think we're gonna mix it because I don't want it too aggressive, so I'm gonna just mix it with this guy. Tap off the excess, and then I'm going to press this in the outer corner. So the whole idea of the outer corner is again lifting everything up and out. So I like to just kind of press, work it into the outer corner, which is gonna pull everything out, and then almost like into the little bit of the transition crease area, really kind of pulling it out. And by just like focusing eyeshadow, like you can see what it does is the light is here. So this is again is going to come forward. I feel like a broken record, but I do want you guys to understand, and I do believe you like that I explain things. I think it's a good thing. So the light is here, so everything's forward. This is all kind of pulling up and back, which is then just snatching the face and, you know, kind of giving us a little facelift at the same time. Like, not mad at that. All right, and then I'm just going to grab my little blendy brush and just make sure this is nice and soft. So basically, I guess instead of telling you what to do, what not to do in theory is apply eyeshadow like up here and like round out the eye. That would be kind of in the what not to do for the square face kind of vibe. We're definitely trying to do a more almond eye look instead of like a rounded eye. So everything is pulled out. So you're not gonna wanna like be sitting there and like really putting, you know, dark product like in the crease. You just want it on the outer corner. Now the fun part is shimmer. Like, enough said. Shimmer is like one of my favorite parts of an eye look, so I'm gonna go into the Orgasm palette. We're gonna grab this like gorgeous bronzy shade. Look how pretty it is. Oh, okay. I think I can start probably with my finger, and then I'm just gonna press that on like so. Ooh, yes. Hello. Hello. So anytime we add shimmer, again, pulls everything forward. So we're only adding the shimmer to the front portion of the eye and then also into the center. Obviously it needs to blend over, so you know, makes sense like that. It looks really pretty. I want a little bit more of a pinky vibe, so I think I'm gonna grab the little pinky guy and I'm gonna just apply it. I'm just gonna apply it on top, you know, why not? Just kind of blend those two. Then we'll just get a little bit more of a pink feel to this eye look. Yeah, that's definitely more the vibe I was looking for. Content. All right, I'm just going to take that outer corner color and just blend it with the shimmer. What I'm gonna do is whatever's left over on my brush, I can use to kind of pull in, but I'm not putting like, you know, a dark shade. So I'm just gonna use that like that. Honestly, this isn't even a bad idea because since we're wearing the bronzy shimmer, the pink now has a background, whereas if the pink just went on the skin, it could look a lot more translucent. So now we're actually giving the pink a little bit of a background to stand out on, which works quite well. So just pressing that on. We can keep it really simple just by, you know, pressing eyeshadows on. It does not need to be complicated at all. And then I'm just gonna bring in that outer color into the inner. It just so happened that the pink really hit the inner corner, but if you want to add a little bit more, and you know, we're here, so why not? I'm just gonna grab the yellow and I'm just gonna apply it right on top of the pink. And oh yeah, see, just that little change, it's really gonna highlight that inner corner, which is again gonna make the eyes look a little bit more wide set, therefore pulling them up and out. Say it with me. Have I gotten annoying yet? Probably. And then we'll take whatever's left over from the yellow and I'm just gonna apply that right under the brow bone. Just a little pop of that. And you can go back to your original blending brush, blend it all together. I think what I'd like to do is just deepen out that outer corner just a touch. So I'm gonna go back to the Orgasm X palette. I'm gonna grab this. Oh, I wanna use, no, you're not using that today. God damn it. And I'm just gonna press that on the outer corner. Sometimes with the blend, you can kind of remove your pigment. So I just wanna put it back and make sure the eye's really being pulled out. Okay, so I'm grabbing a little smudgy brush. I'm gonna dip into the matte shade of the Orgasm palette and the matte shade of the Orgasm X, just mixing them together. I'm going to apply it to the lower lash line. I'm not taking it all the way in because again, I'm focusing on the outer portion of the eye. So I'm just going to run that lightly like that, and then I'm going to join it with the outer corner so everything's nice and cohesive. And it's almost like, see how the blush meets the temple, now the outer corner meets the eye, so everything's just kind of being pulled in the same direction. Other eye. And then for the inner corner, again, you can just grab that little pinky shade or the yellow, whatever you like. And I'm just going to pull it into the inner corner, really highlighting that lovely little space. Okay, so here's what the eyes are looking like right now. I think they look lovely. So for liner, this is like a pretty crucial step for this kind of look, because again, if we want to pull things out, definitely liner placement is important. Okay, so for liner, I'm going to use a little liner pencil. This is a NARS pencil in It is, I think it's a Mambo, is it? Yeah, it is. Oh, look at me go. So it is a really beautiful, like warm, rich brown. I don't want black because everything's very like bronzy and glowing, kind of pinky. So a nice warm brown is stunning. I'm gonna apply this to the outer portion of the eye first. I don't want it to be too thick. Don't want it to come into the middle, but I definitely need to pull things up and out. So it's gonna start on the outer portion of the eye. I love pencils, but I definitely like to have a bit more control. So I like to switch over to a little liner brush and I'll just like kind of grab some of the product. And then I'm gonna use this to kind of create my wing. So for the wing, I'm following the lower lash line portion of my eye. Do this with your eyes open so you actually get the proper angle, especially if you have hooded eyes. And conjoin. So don't want anything like really strong. So as you can see, this one almost looks like a shadow liner, and that's totally fine because that's like kind of the goal. I just definitely want to kind of sculpt in that angle first before we kind of smoke it out. So by doing with your like little line with your eyes open, you're just gonna see exactly how much you can get lifted, rather than if you close your eye and then you do it too low and then it like pulls the eye out, and it's not what we want because it kind of ruins like the angle of the cheekbone. Like we want everything kind of going together. It makes the eye really happy to kind of see that symmetry. So we want everything following the same angle, so that's why we do it with our eyes open, and then you just kind of flick with your little brush, and you're just gonna get the tiniest little baby line. Now for the inner portion, because we want it nice and thin, because I don't want a lot of like volume in the front, all I'm gonna do is I like to kind of use my eyes open, and then I'm just gonna pull in that liner, just so it lightly blends and there's not like a harsh line. So just with the background of the shadows, this liner kind of went purple on me, and I don't really want that. I want it definitely brown. So I'm gonna go into my little Barbie palette. This one never lets me down. And I'm gonna grab this nice rich brown shade, and I'm just gonna like quickly just press that on top. If you want a little bit more drama, you can just take whatever you have left over on that little flat shader brush from the brown. Just work that into the lower lash line. Okay, so here how the eyes are looking. Everything is nice and pulled up. It's very soft, but it's really pretty. I'm gonna toss on some lashes and mascara, and we'll move on to the lips. Okay, so we're back. This is quite a large lash, which is, it's kind of one of my tips. Honestly, if you want your eyes to look bigger, a big lash definitely just like, woo, again, more surface area. It lifts everything. It looks gorgeous. You can see how subtle our line looks compared to like the lash. It's not like a liner look. It just kind of just adds a little bit more. So happy with that, quite content. Also, I did cut my lash so that it would not fold down. Again, we want everything up and out. So if you have too long of a lash and it goes downwards, it totally ruins everything. So we want to make sure our lashes are cut a little shorter so that they can lift up and give us that nice little facelift and make us look cute. Okay, amazing. For our little lippity doodah day, I just want something natural. I want something pretty. I feel like this look is, you know, nice and pretty. So I'm gonna use my Bedtime Flirt NYX Push-Up Lingerie Lip Pencil, whatever thing. I use these all the time. They're not technically lip liners, so they are fat, so this takes me a little longer to actually complete the lip. But with, you know, again, making our face look smaller, more snatched, we just want our lips looking nice and full volume. So I'm going to overline my lips, and let's be real, I was going to overline my lips anyway because that's all I ever do. So I'm going to do that. This is never glided on so easy because it is so hot and humid that like the product's like half melted, and so it's working really well for me. And just filling it in to give us a little bit of a base. I'm just gonna keep this really simple. I'm just gonna go into my lovely JK Magic from Charlotte Tilbury. It's just a very similar color, but it's obviously more of a lipstick creamy feel, and apply this. And I'd love to leave it there. However, if you really want your lips to look nice and voluminous, to, you know, kind of go with the entire face look, all I'm gonna do is take over my leftover concealer or foundation, anything nude and lighter, just to highlight the center like so, and then you can just like blend it in with your finger or a little brush. And then the last product from the Orgasm X collection is this lovely little lip oil, and you guys know I adore lip oils, so we're gonna apply this. And again, this is just the shade Orgasm X. Ooh, baby, look how pretty that is. Oh, hello. I've been wearing this on its own and it's so good. But it gives you just that slight coral, and then it's just, you know, a lip oil, so it's super moisturizing and lovely. I know like half of you could predict what I'm gonna say, but of course, now that we've got the lip, I feel like we could add a little bit more blush, a little bit more bronzer, just a little bit more face action. So let's do that. I'm gonna go back into my NYX big floofy brush. We're gonna grab our first bronzer, the Buxom bronzer, just top it up, down the neck, around the perimeter, and then we'll switch over. We'll grab our little blush brush, our nice chiselly bronzer, really chisel out those cheekbones. Again, we start at the back so we can bring it forward. And you can just take a little bit, because you have a little bit of a deeper shade just across the forehead like so. And then I like to really kind of get down here. This actually is like really into, like, I'm very much into that technique. I'm glad I learned about that one. And then just a touch more blush. Don't go crazy, Meghan. So hard not to. This blush is like honestly the most beautiful blush I've ever used. I absolutely love it. And then my last trick, which is such a good one for square faces, oh my goodness. So I'm gonna take a super light powder, okay? This is hella light, use it sparingly. I like to go right under the eyes and just add this pocket of light. So this is just me adding little pockets of light. I'm not gonna take it all the way out, I'm just gonna add it to the right underneath. Little pocket of light, little pocket of light, and then whatever's left over, that's you can use as your little eraser, just to really make sure the cheekbone is well snatched. Then we will set some setting spray. Tap this out. And here we are. This is our final look. I kind of love it. I love these like pink softer vibes. I always forget how much I love a good like pinky nude lip, but I absolutely love this look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Let me know if you've been using your square face, how your square face journey is going. I love connecting with you guys in the comments. It really means a lot to me that you're here and that you kind of trust my advice, and I get to be kind of that safe space for you. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.